ETimes. Today we have Kriti Sanon with us, and she's going to speak about her upcoming film, Hum Do Hamare Do, which releases on Disney Hotstar. Hi Kriti, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So we've just seen the trailer of your film, and it looks very interesting. I personally got a few vibes of, these old 70s films with the family dramas, especially the kind that Hrishikesh Mukherjee used to make, like Chupke Chupke, a lot of comedy of errors.
Yeah.
So what were your favorite things when you sort of heard about the film? What was the most exciting part when you first heard the concept?
I think the point of adopting parents was something very unique, and I hadn't heard of that before. And this was actually Raj, I and Dinu were sitting in Soho over a lunch where he told us about the concept, like the one line of it, that this girl who he falls for, she doesn't know that he doesn't have parents, and she just says that, I want to marry a family. And he ends up adopting parents, and now parents are usually, we are born into a family. We don't get to choose our family. But here, when this guy gets to choose his family, the chaos that happens, especially because the mother and the father have a past of their own. So I feel like that and the comedy of errors that happens around that is very, very unique.
Interesting. You've worked with Rajkummar, I think, in 2 films before. Rapta and...
yeah. Rapta, sorry, I forget, because he was not looking like Rajkummar Rao at all. So I don't consider that.
Extended cameo.
Yeah.
So, you've watched him in close quarters from the start of your career to now. So, what sort of changes, what sort of growth have you seen in him as a co-star?
I think he's just so talented, and he's got so many aspects to him. Like in every film, I feel like, that he's going to kill it with his performance, with a scene. He's become synonymous to a good performer, and that's what you expect. You know कि Rajkummar Rao की film में acting तगड़ी होने वाली है. So that is always there. And I think with him, I feel, I think our tuning, our chemistry is better in this film. Like 10 folds better, I would say, than what it was in Bareilly. Also because we both have grown as people and as actors during this time, and the fact that I know him better now, I've worked with him once before, so the comfort level is a lot there. He is one of the most giving actors, I would say. By that, I also mean, like, for him, it's not about his performance alone, but he understands the fact that a scene becomes good only if everyone is good in it. One of those actors who is probably the best in his back shot as well. Right. And that's what I believe in. And I think that's why with him, the give and take as actors is excellent. There are scenes where it's been written, but it's such a heated scene that it has to be more about your reactions to each other. You have to improvise, you have to put in your words, your reactions. You have to play it like how you would want to play it. And when an actor like him is in front of you, it just gets easier because it's more real and organic, because you're genuinely listening to each other. You're genuinely reacting to each other.
Yeah. Is that very reassuring? Having Rajkummar Rao, having Paresh Rawal, having Ratna Pathak Shah as your co-stars, does that sort of open your canvas as an artist? You decide, wow, I'm in great company and I'm going to perform my best.
Always. It is just, I think casting plays a very, very important role in any film. It can make or break the film, and when you have such fabulous actors around you, it's that it's going to be a lot of fun to perform.
Right. Okay, so your last film, Mimi, also spoke about parenting in a very different sort of way.
Yeah.
Over here, the twist is completely different.
Ulta hai.
Yeah, it's about completing a family over here.
Yeah.
That was far more intimate, it was far more personal.
Yeah.
So these 2 films, have they changed, or how have they influenced your perception of family or your perception of people you love and those very intimate relationships in your life?
I think they all just make you think a lot more that we don't give enough time and enough value to our family that we should. I think the pandemic also did the same to me. To many of us, most of us in fact, it reinstated the value of family, and I think I was really, really glad that my family was by my side during the tough times and that they were with me and we were going through it together. They were safe, they were healthy. It was so important. And I was spending time with my family after a very long time. You know, we get busy in our lives and we're just running so fast. We forget about these important relationships and moments and the fact that they need time. Any relationship needs time. So I feel after the pandemic, when I went first into this film, we all just came with that feeling of, you know, valuing family, and we came into this film that spoke about family. So I think it was very, very organic, and the film kind of was feeling like meant to be at that time. And yeah, I think I kind of think about, you know, spending time with my family, make it a point, make a call, or, you know, at least make sure that I'm replying on my family groups constantly and I'm not like taking them for granted. So I think those things have sort of come into me also after the pandemic, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely you start thinking more about your family. Your films also talk about parenting in general.
Yeah.
Have you thought about what parenting is going to be like for you? Have you given that a thought?
Not at all.
No?
I can't. I feel, yeah, that much I know. See, I love kids. And I think it's been easier for me to shoot, maybe only because I love kids also. If I didn't, it would have been a bigger challenge. So I love kids, and I feel that I would always want to be a friend of my child as well. That's something that I've had in my mind. That's something that I put in me as well. Like it came from me where I told Lakshman so that I don't want him to call her mummy in this, because I mean, it's a surrogate child. She was not ready for it, and it's happened. And I feel like her equation with the kid is like she's his friend, and he calls her Mimi only. So that's what was unique there, which is where I kind of felt like I would want that kind of an equation where I'm a friend with the child.
And on the subject of Mimi, it was probably the first film in your career which was solely built on your shoulders. You were the main star on there. I mean, it was carried both commercially and creatively. So, was there any pressure? What sort of expectations did you have, and especially during the pandemic? You know, ideally somebody, as an actor, you would think your film should release in theatres, it should go out to as many people as possible. But a complete different shift in terms of its exhibition, in terms of how it would be received. What were your thoughts? And eventually, of course, we all know it got such great reception. So how did that transition happen, if you can share?
See, when I was taking up the film, for me, I think mentally I was ready to take up something on my shoulders, and something which had a lot more meat, which, you know, allowed me to do a lot more as an actor, because I was craving for it. And when this came my way, it just felt like that perfect film which had heart in it, which had soul in it, which said all the things, which was still entertaining and not like arty and going into a very grim zone. And it just felt like the perfect film. And when I was shooting, yes, of course, there was a little sense of the fact that I'm going to be in every single frame, you know. And there was, like, when the schedule was made, I barely had off days because I was there on every day, you know. And it made me feel a sense of responsibility where I was like, I have to kill it, because if I falter in, you know, as a character anywhere, the film will kind of, you know, end up falling. And I think because the film gave me so much also to do, that it just got me a lot more excited to give it that much back, you know, where I went in and, you know, gained those 15 kilos and did everything that I, you know, could possibly do for that film. When it was releasing, of course, when we were shooting, we all had in our heads ki theatre, and I would, you know, constantly, like Pankaj sir also, I would keep asking ki kya lagta hai, kitna karegi, and all these things. Aapko kya lag raha hai, kaisi ban rahi hai?
Usual questions.
Yeah. I am horrible with numbers, so I don't get to know, but I don't get a sense while I'm shooting. I just get a sense whether we're making a good film or not. And he would like give some enormous numbers, you know, and I would be like, you know, crossing my fingers. And the first year of the pandemic, 2020, we all were like very sure that nay, you know, it has to come in the theatre, let's hold on to it. And I think Maddock also, Dino also knew somewhere how special it was, where he was like, you know, I wanted to reach out to more and more people. But I think when we entered 2021, we kind of felt like, this film should just be watched. And it should just, the times were so serious and everyone was going through so much, where we felt like this was a good film for people to watch at this point. It would make them laugh. It's a film that you can watch with your family. And I also feel that a project sometimes gets very stale, if you just keep holding on to it, because it's made at a different time. So we all kind of felt like, okay, maybe it's a sign and we should just release it. And now there was no barometer of success. We had no box office numbers. So there was like no nothing to measure it. And we just felt like, okay, we in our hearts, we knew that it was a beautiful film and we all believed in it a lot. And we knew it's going to get love. But the kind of love that poured in, despite the fact that it was an OTT release, it released on 2 platforms, which maybe helped reach out to 2 different kind of audiences, whether it's a Jio Cinemas and a Netflix. And the kind of love that poured in, we kind of felt glad that it got what it deserved.
Right.
If it would have just released and not gotten that love, it would have been a waste of releasing that film on OTT.
And when there is that long delay, when you're sort of waiting and watching when is my film going to release, those butterflies in the stomach, how do you deal with that? What do you tell yourself?
I think I was more excited than nervous for this film. Somewhere we all were very confident on the film, because we got that sense while filming it, and then when we saw the final product, we were like, it says something very good and it will get the love that it should. So I just feel that we were like waiting for it for so long that abhi aa jani chahiye, that when it came, I was just glad that the way people reacted, and so many people called and said that after a very long time I've seen a film with my mom or with my kids, and like my manager asked me, can I watch it with my children? I said, yes, of course. That's what normally people are scared on OTT to just watch content with their kids or their parents, because they feel they might get uncomfortable in some scene.
Right.
So this was one of those rare films that people watched with their families. And this, in fact, Hum Do Hamare Do is that zone, which you can watch with your family, which, you don't have to feel uncomfortable at all. In fact, you might get more emotional because you're watching with your family. And I feel it's releasing at the right time, which is Diwali, where, I like to sit in with my whole family, have some nice food that's been cooked and watch something together.
Right. So on that thought, we've seen you kickboxing of late on social media. So are you sort of is there a paradigm shift happening in your career with, say, films like Ganpath, with films like Adipurush? Are you sort of going towards a sort of a different genre, taking more risks, probably like you took with Panipat as well?
Taking risks, yes, but Adipurush doesn't have any action for me. Ganpath does. So that was more of prep for Ganpath, which I kind of had just started. I look very athletic. I'm not. I've never been. I've been into dance, never into sports. So for me, it is something very new. And I feel, I kind of just got that time to give to that prep, and I started off and I kind of little bit injured my knee. So I have to wait before I prep again.
Okay.
And on the other hand, Tiger is just going on and on and on these videos that he's been posting, flying really high. But I'm looking forward to it because it's different for me, doing action, doing something which I haven't done before so much. Panipat had a little section of it, which kind of gave me that high and that kick that, I want to do something like that again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And one final question, you're a star. There is so much written about you every day. Probably out of, say, a month which has a 30 days, 20 odd days, people will be writing about your fashion, your glamour. A few days, people will write probably about your personal life, and then fewer still is about your career and your moves, etc. So out of all this attention, which is the most gratifying for you on a personal level, and which makes you most comfortable?
Obviously, when they talk about my films and my work, is the most gratifying. Everything else is like a part of the job.
Right.
It's a part and parcel. It's not something that I do. So obviously, when they talk about my work, is the most gratifying. The least they talk about personal life is the best. Not having a personal life helps. because then they can't write anything.
Right.
So yeah, currently it's been more on fashion and films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. A word about your upcoming films. You've already spoken about Ganpath. We've already spoken about Adipur. Is there anything else that we should be looking forward to?
I mean, Bachchan Pandey, I've been dubbing, so that is something that's going to probably after Hum Do Hamare Do be the first one to come out. Hopefully in theatres, having my fingers crossed. And Bhedia is also complete. Bhedia is also got a lot of VFX, which is why it's going to take a little longer. And but it's something very unique, very interesting on script level. It was one of the funniest scripts that I've read so far. And my look in that film is very unique. Like you would kind of give it a double take when you see it. Like, is it her? Is it her? Like, so I feel like it's nice when you look different as a character because you see an image and you can say, oh, this is that film, and I like that.
Have you pulled a Rabta with Bhedia, like Rajkummar?
As in?
Like a completely different look, people might not actually recognize you.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I hope they do recognize me. It shouldn't be that. No, it's not that far gone. You would still see my face. It's not like you won't, but yeah, it's going to be unique.
Cool. On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you. Lovely
Best
talking
of
to
luck for
you.
your film.
Thank you.